Since we're talking about word that the Obama administration may be presenting some plans to encourage transfer from 401ks into a sort of annuity payment plan for retirees, how much that would cost a Vanguard, or how you're factoring that in to your outlook right now?
Well, we don't agree with it as a public policy matter, frankly. You know, people have the best annuity in the world, which is Social Security. And that's a core part of the retirement saving infrastructure in this country. The annuity option is there today, but as you said, a very small percentage of people take it for a lot of reasons. They're very expensive. There's generally limited inflation protection in them. There's no ability to tap them as such if you have an emergency, and that's why keeping choice out there and letting the market decide whether somebody wants to annuitize or maintain their investments in the markets is the right public policy from our standpoint.
Up until today, the U.S. has been successful at exporting much of its inflation to China by selling them U.S. treasuries. China has about $1 trillion in U.S. dollar reserves due to the U.S. dollar's status as the world's reserve currency, which forces countries to trade oil and other valuable commodities in U.S. dollars. In April, China reduced their U.S. Treasury holdings for the first time in over a year. China is now calling for a new reserve currency to replace the U.S. dollar. This all but guarantees a dramatic decline in the quality of life here in America.
Last week, Trim Tabs Investment Research started a bit of buzz on the suggestion that the recent run-up in U.S. markets is abnormal. The research house that tracks liquidity flows in the market says $600 billion of new cash that flowed into U.S. equity markets last year did not come from traditional players like companies, retail investors, foreign investors, hedge funds, or for that matter, pension funds. Where did it come from then? Best guess, the U.S. government, it says, could be pumping cash in behind the scenes. Charles Biederman is Chief Executive Officer at Trim Tabs Investment Research, live out of Santa Rosa, California. Charles, good to see you, and good evening. I got to ask you, I mean, everybody likes a conspiracy theory, but, I mean, are there hard numbers, or what evidence do you base this on, that the government has been boosting the market?
Well, it's all circumstantial evidence. We have no hard evidence. All we know is that we can't find the market cap of the United States stocks are up close to $7 trillion since the bottom in March, and historically it's 10-to-1 leverage, so you'd need $600 to $700 billion of new cash to boost prices up by $7 trillion, $6 to $7 trillion. You know, institutions own 75% of all stocks, and institutions typically are fully invested. So for the price of the overall market to go up, you need new money, and we couldn't find any. All we do know, though, is that all the gain in the market, pretty much all of last year, occurred in after-hours trading. In other words, the S&P, after the market closed, between when the market opens and the market closes, prices were unchanged. But when the S&P trading pit starts at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and closes a quarter before the market opens in the morning, that's when all the gains occurred. The other circumstantial evidence is that volume is down by 1/3 to 1/2 from a year ago, and we've never seen a market rally up this much on decreasing volume.
Yeah.
And the third thing is we can't find where the money's coming from.
All right.
So there's only one guy that we know that's been pumping big bucks into everything, and that's Uncle Sugar.
Or Uncle Sam. Yeah, Uncle Sugar.
This week, the theft of a proprietary trading code from Goldman Sachs could lead to market manipulation if it fell into the wrong hands. Bloomberg columnist Jonathan Weil wants to know more about that bombshell and whose hands it happens to be in right now. He joins us. It's a very interesting story, and a lot of people are starting to raise questions about what is Goldman Sachs doing with this trading code that could manipulate the market?
Run for your lives if it gets in the wrong hands. It's an incredible statement that this prosecutor made, and just to put it in some context of what he made it, he was trying to get this particular defendant, Sergei Lenikov. I may have botched the Russian pronunciation on that, but he was trying to get the court on the 4th of July to declare him a danger to the community so he wouldn't post bail. So if there's anything, there is a bit of an incentive to exaggerate the harm that could come with this.
The interesting thing, I think your column sets it up nicely, and if you didn't read it at home, you can check it out on our website, Bloomberg.com. This guy, just to set it up for the viewer, was working at Goldman. He switched over now to Citadel, but in the meantime, he had uploaded some code. And Goldman got on the phone to the Justice Department and got them so fast to nail this guy, it's almost, you wonder if they have a red line to the government.
It is amazing. Within one day of Goldman calling, they had FBI agents at his driveway doing surveillance. The next day, they arrested him coming off a flight from at Newark Airport. And you would think, if a customer ever called up the Justice Department and complained that, some big Wall Street bank just ripped me off, do you think that they would send FBI agents out that quickly?
They might have stronger connections over at Goldman Sachs.
I think so.
It's interesting that the prosecutor, from the testimony that I read, it almost sounds as if he is working at Goldman Sachs. I mean, he's saying that, this guy has stolen this code which may impede, our market cap or Goldman's market cap. It's very interesting.
You do wonder how much due diligence and how much investigation the FBI could have done on this case in 2 days. Before they arrested this fellow, and this quote is worth reading in its entirety. Can I just
please do.
Here's what the 34-year-old prosecutor Joseph Facciapanti. The bank has raised the possibility that there is a danger that somebody who knew how to use this program could use it to manipulate markets in unfair ways.
If there's that sort of program, why doesn't Goldman Sachs get to hold it? That's a good question.
Yeah, why should all of us trust Goldman Sachs to not use it in unfair ways, whatever those ways are, which he did not allow?
Well, Prashant, I have sold all of my stocks everywhere in the world except some in China. I bought some more in China in October, November, but I'm not buying shares anywhere in the world. These are economic hard times, Prashant. People need to understand that. The very fact that people constantly say to me, aren't you buying? What should you buy? Lets me know that people do not quite yet understand what is happening in the world.